We don't play the social game. We are social. Power 98.5. You're listening to Power 98.5, powered by United Angels Dream, your #1 resource for public relations, entertainment, and multimedia. Contact them today at unitedangelsdream.com.
Prepare yourself. Okay, let's go.
Empowering listeners from the US to the UK. Live on air with Stephen Cuoco.
Until tonight, I'll stay with you, darling. We share the light. We'll drink till the morning, just you and me. When the stars come out and we'll be free. If we can just make it, I know it's hard to see. We'll be together.
That's how you do an intro, Mr. Callum Kerr.
Yes, sir. And thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for reaching out. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Tell me more about this. I was totally taken back that when I Googled you and found this track eventually, I did not expect it to be very house or techno.
I literally just started learning how to produce music this year, and as someone who likes to learn as they go and learn by doing, I thought I'm just going to make a dance track and learn on the way, and this was the product at the end. So it was a learning curve, and I made loads of mistakes, but I picked up so much production experience, and I was really happy with the end result. And you know, it's led to me now working on a bunch more songs with a lot more cool people. So it's been really cool and a great experience so far.
I love it, absolutely love it. So what came first, music or acting?
Music first, not professionally though. I started music at 9-10 years old in school. I started with classical guitar lessons, which I hated because I just play like Fall Out Boy and Green Day and stuff. Nirvana, you know, I just wanted to shred an electric guitar. And back then we call it primary school, it's elementary school, they wanted us to learn all the classics. So my intro to guitar wasn't ideal for me, but it kind of gave me the thirst to learn my own stuff. And then I got into acting a few years ago and did a few kind of acting / musical projects, and it slowly just transitioned into wanting to produce my own stuff. And here we are today.
It's working for you. And why I say that, to look at your photos, to look at your Instagram, to look at what's out there, it doesn't surprise me because you have a total Vanderpump Rules vibe about you.
Thanks very much. I'll let them know. There's they've got some competition.
I like, that's the first thing I thought of was Lisa Vanderpump and Vanderpump Rules. I'm like, this guy's got to either get on Bravo or something, because man, you would take the US by storm.
Thanks very much, man. I love the US. I used to live in Austin, Texas, and it's like a second home to me. And obviously that's such a huge musical scene. So I'd love the opportunity to do some work over there. I'm tied up with work here at the moment, which I love, but that's, you know, that will come to an end at some point. I think maybe a little venture across the ocean might be in store.
I hope so. Come on. I mean, there's got to be fans out here. You've got US fans, right?
Yeah. So I think this tune actually, you know, I think it got about 30,000, 35,000 streams on Spotify and you know, a few more on Apple Music and stuff. But what's crazy is when you go into the details, like these streams are coming from all over the world, which is really cool. And then I also did a couple of American TV shows, which really helped. So I've got a little bit of a base over there so far. But yeah, I mean, the states are huge, and each state is so different. So I'd love to explore the whole place a little bit more, and yeah, maybe hopefully play some music when we're allowed crowds in a venue again.
It's usually the number one question because of, you know, the climate of what our world is going through. And, you know, sometimes I wonder, do I want to go there and ask? But, you know, not to be redundant on it, and it would be very curious, is what has the pandemic, what has it done? How has it affected you, your career, or the business in general out there in the UK?
So in terms of TV film, everything was halted in May. So, you know, it wasn't ideal for a lot of people. It's coming back though. You know, it was looking sticky for a second, but everything's coming back, and everyone's doing things safely. And for me personally, it gave me a really good platform to, you know, it was for the first time in years, I just had all this time on my hands. So as I was learning music production, I could just wake up in the morning and do it until I went to bed at night. So actually, I think I kind of leaped ahead of where I would have been with music during the lockdown and having basically nothing to do and not being able to leave the house. So I kind of, yeah, you know, I made lemonade out of the lemons, but, you know, and I know, you know, not to be insensitive to anyone who suffered, because obviously it's a tragedy worldwide, but you know, I was very lucky to be healthy, and so I just used my spare time to do something creative and something that I really enjoyed, and I think something that you know, with the music production, something that I'm going to be doing for a long time. So I kind of really enjoyed having the time off. By the end of it, I was really ready to get back to work and leave the house. But yeah, for a while, it was good.
Any new tracks you're going to be debuting before the end of the year? Are you going to be doing what a lot of musicians are, how they're doing it here in the States? Once a month, they've got a track going out. Is that what you're planning on? Do you have a full EP coming out?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm studying at a school called Icon Collective. I'm studying music production. So I'm going to be doing that pretty much full time, as well as acting on this show that I do in the UK called Hollyoaks. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm currently working on tracks with 2 different artists, and they should be coming out pretty soon. So I've not got a particular kind of 1 a month schedule. If anything, I'd like to be releasing more than 1 a month, because you know, I'm down to a record contract. I don't have to go through, you know, I don't have to jump through any hoops or anything to get things released. So at the moment, I'm just trying to make the best music possible and get it out as quickly as I can. So yeah, so hopefully by the end of the year, maybe 3 or 4, hopefully more.
What platform works for you the best? Spotify, Apple Music? Where have you found your most success?
I think Spotify. I think so far. I mean, I've only released this one track, which is a bit of a tester, but Spotify definitely has been great for me. But saying that, since releasing that one, my following's gone up over all the platforms by quite a lot. So we'll see. I think most people are using Spotify and Apple Music these days. I had a few on Amazon Music, which is cool. But there's so many platforms these days, you know, even SoundCloud, and there's like Hype Machine and stuff like that, where people can listen for free, and they have their own kind of privatized charts and stuff. So there's so many different places where people can hear music. So I'm just going to blast it out on all of them and see what happens.
Absolutely. And you using a distribution company, or are you self-publishing?
Yeah, I'm self-publishing through a website called DistroKid, which is like a lifesaver for anyone who's independent, because they basically blast it out over all the platforms and then send you back detailed information of how it's performing on each one. So it's been really good, man. And I think this day and age, I'm sure, as you know, it's getting easier and easier to do things on your own, you know, with like the likes of YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. Like the self-promotion game is the best it's ever been. So websites like DistroKid have been super helpful. And yeah, I think I'll just keep doing it independently until there's a good enough offer to do it for a label, and if not, then I'll just keep doing it independently because I enjoy it. I've already got a bit of a following, and as soon as I can, I'll get back to doing some live stuff.
The good thing about DistroKid, from what I'm aware of with their reputation, is you keep 100% of your publishing rights compared to other platforms. This one works well, and the reviews for it and about it have been incredible.
Yeah, everyone I know in the music game seems to like to use DistroKid. So as far as I'm aware, as long as they don't change anything, then I'll be using them for a while. And that, they don't sponsor me or anything, but it's just been such a great platform for me as an independent artist that I don't see myself needing to use anything else for now, at least. But yeah, I mean, what is it like over your end, being on the radio and stuff? Do you mostly, what are you seeing? Are you seeing mostly record label hits coming out, or are you seeing more and more independent artists kind of breaking through?
Where I totally support is independent artists. Why? Is because artists really need to not only take the power back in their own hands, but be able to know how to do business and do business well. The number one problem, and this is something I spoke with my representative about, it's what's come out in the media. As you probably know of, Fox, NBC covered it, Vents Magazine, and Chicago Finance, New York Finance, and going to be on Yahoo Finance soon. That, in the music business, there's the whole pay-per-play scheme. I am not for that. The reason why, and I don't know if you've heard of this, is everything and everyone has back-end deals. This is why, back in the 80s, 90s, even earlier than that, record companies were so powerful and are still powerful because they pay for all the expense, or management pays the expense right up. Your hair, makeup's covered, video, studio time, producing, all of that. But the problem is people get into hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. There's a music artist that I know of that is in debt for around $400,000. And this artist is not making any money. This person's got good traction. The numbers are good. But it takes what? You make $1 on, I'm assuming I have the number somewhere, or at least I had it memorized. I think it's 255 streams. Like, you need a couple hundred just to make $1. Placements. Yeah. Placements is where to go. And it's something that I recommend for you to look into. Check into, since you're on IMDb Pro, look into film productions. Google and search any new film productions, independent film productions, and find out what type of music they're using. Reach out to the producer, the director, anyone that's on a team or handles that sort of content, and see if you can, your music either matches up or you can create something for that. And placements is where you can make anywhere from $1,500 to over $10,000. You can make well more amount of money and a greater living through placements, through television, film, independent film, than you may through streaming. But just to backpedal a little bit, Callum, before I get off track, is what you're doing is good. What you're doing is what millions of music artists are doing. And you need to avoid debt, to ask questions, and just be very, very mindful that you're aware that these corporate companies and major music, industry is your real estate, and they have to think to themselves, how can I get a return on my investment? And with that, it comes with a cost: creativity, identity. And I think I don't just think, I know for a fact what you're doing, once again, along with millions, not hundreds, millions of other music artists, is you're finding that you're able to stick to your narrative. You're able to keep your true identity to what you want it to be, how you want it to be, and how you see it, then going in and having it manufactured, and someone saying, in order for you to be this, in order for you to have this, we need to turn you into this. And that's where a lot of the emotional, mental illness and chaos starts happening.
Absolutely. Well, you see some of the biggest artists now. I mean, everyone calls Kanye West crazy half the time, but whether you agree with his ramblings or not, he's fighting at the moment for artists to have their own, to have the rights to their own creations, and I think basically rightly so. And it's just a shame that it's taken this long to get to the point where artists can have 100% right of their, of whatever they release, especially if they're independent. But you've got people who've been stuck on these record deals for years and years, and they might even write 10 songs to get out of their record deal, but then the record label says, oh, we don't think these 10 songs are the ones that we want to release on our record, on our label, so you have to write another 10 and maybe come up, so you can get really stuck for decades in those positions. But luckily I've got a good team around me, and I've had plenty of experience with contracts with acting work, so hopefully I'll be fine. But I really appreciate the heads up and the advice. And
that's what I'm here for. It's to just, if need be, the first one to call it out. I don't mind, because that's my passion. It's my duty. It's what I choose to be of my duty and responsibility, to let you know, as a consultant advisor, as a professional, to say, here are your options. Here are things for you to consider. The way of doing business, of the whole smoke and mirrors of, shellacking everything and painting a picture. The number one question is that picture, is that theme, is that narrative your real identity? How long are you going to fit into that? How long can you fit into that? And is it possible to sustain? And that's why less than a fraction of 1% of 8 billion people will ever be on a stage or a platform such as Kanye West or Shawn Mendes or an Ariana Grande.
For sure.
It takes more than a team. It takes your team to communicate with you. And so, if you were to ever acquire management in music, I always say this, and I have no problem being redundant about it. They need to, 1, stay in their own lane. Number 2, they are to be the financial investor or angel investor in you. Management that come in that are handling your booking, they're handling your PR, they're not supposed to be doing any of that. So for you, as you're going forward, if you are able to do this financially on your own, excellent. If you ever get a angel investor or a manager, make sure they're writing those Daddy Warbucks checks, and make sure you're not getting yourself into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt.
Absolutely.
The 2 things, lastly, to close on that, and I'll let you take the mic, is make sure you've got an exceptional booking agent that works 24/7 around the clock, because that's your money generator of what they're responsible for. And if either represent yourself or get yourself a good representative that can help enlighten you, educate you, and to facilitate great leadership and advisement behind the scenes, because this is 99% development and 1% performance.
Yeah. It's all good stuff to think about. And I'd be lying if I said I was any kind of an expert in the industry. So any kind of heads up or advice is very well received on my end. So I appreciate you going through all that. And I may have to call you back at some point and say, what was that thing you said about booking agents?
I'm always here. You can call me at any time.
No, I appreciate that a lot. So I feel like, I'm at the start of this journey, and I'll see where it takes me. And hopefully there's a good work-life balance with some decent wonga to be made in the middle. So we'll see. But it's all very exciting. I'm loving every moment so far.
I'm not worried for you. Let's go into Hollyoaks. I have not heard of that show. I'm a huge British television watcher, and this one, soap opera, hasn't come to the table or my awareness until I came across you.
Yeah, so they're actually they've been doing a really good job over the last 25 years. In the UK, we used to have 5 TV channels, and obviously this was before the digital age, where now we have hundreds, and we have Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that. But back in the day, we'd have 5 channels, and every evening each channel would show a different soap opera, and they would all compete for who was going to watch which one. And Channel 4, which shows Hollyoaks, was a bit late to the game, and they introduced Hollyoaks in about 25 years ago, so 95 it would have been. And they decided that instead of going with the traditional kind of dreary, very realistic British soap appeal, they would have like a colourful, bright, energetic soap opera, which also dealt with some real issues that were going on in the UK. And they've won tons of awards for their storylines, for their characters, for their actors, for their writers. And I joined the show a couple of years ago, and at the point that I joined the show, they just won the Best British Soap for 2019. So the work that they've done to get up to the same level as the big shows in the UK has been phenomenal. And it just, it goes to show that it's still growing. And now that I'm on the show and, I post about it, there's now people in the US that are ordering it on Hulu, and there's, so it's still got room to grow. But it's an amazing show. They put out 5 episodes a week, which, as doing a radio show is a lot of work. And they consistently update their storylines to reflect what's going on in the UK. And to be honest, outside of all of that, outside of how good they are at it, I love working every day, especially something that, I kind of dreamed of doing when I was a lot younger. So for me, it's absolutely ideal, and it's been a great kind of training ground for me as well. So yeah, absolutely love it. The soap world is mental. It's absolutely crazy. Scripts get changed at the last minute. Scenes get put in that you didn't have a clue about before. But what they say is if you can work on a soap, you can work on anything. It's the most mental, dramatic, fun place to work. And it's been an invaluable experience for me so far. And hopefully something that will project me onto more work, around the world.
And on to something such as Vanderpump Rules or something like that.
Yeah. I'm feeling Stranger Things. That's the big one, right?
Good call. Very good call. Yeah. Netflix, you can get yourself on Netflix. They like to recast their former cast on former productions on there. I don't know if you've noticed that, but it's like, wait, I saw you on this film, now you're on this show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get
that's the dream right there. But who knows? I'm very open to anything in the future. So I'm just quite happy to do my best on Hollyoaks while I'm on there, and then see what happens afterwards.
Can you tell us more about your role on Hollyoaks?
Yeah, so I play a police officer with a ridiculous name. The police officer's name is PC George Kiss. His last name is Kiss, which is ridiculous, but it's actually a real last name, believe it or not. It's Hungarian.
Really?
So they've managed to swindle me and pull that off. But it's been good actually, because it's a talking point, it's an icebreaker, and it's been a running joke in the show. So it's been really good. So I play a police officer who comes in at the beginning, and he's very charming, and everyone kind of likes him and trusts him. But as of recently, he's been shown a bit of a nasty side, a bit of a dark side, and it seems to be that his persona seems to be spiraling into something that makes other people uncomfortable. And he's now got a sense of danger about him, which I think is only going to get more and more bitter and hateful. So it's a really fun part to play, because I got to be the nice guy, and I'm getting to turn into a bit of a handful as well. So I couldn't have asked for a cooler role, and it's been it's been talked about a lot. I've just been nominated for an award, Best Newcomer for a British soap, which is really cool, in the Inside Soap Awards. So yeah, I'm honestly delighted. Couldn't have had a better start.
Congratulations, and I'm very proud of you, honestly.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Any closing thoughts or shout outs that you would like to give?
Closing thoughts. No, I'm on the spot. I can't think. I suppose closing thoughts is just, it's been fun, really fun to do this. I've only done a couple of TV and online interviews and stuff, so this is one of the first, hopefully of many, but it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and hopefully we get to do this again. Maybe with another song or something like that, but I'll definitely keep you in the loop with anything that comes out from my end. And yeah,
I'm going to hold you to it, because I really would like for you to to let all of the listeners here on Power 98.5, especially in the United States, you've got your fans here. And what better way for people to get a much easier access to you here than, if they can't get a hold of you either through, streaming or through any radio or any digital content that's happening out there in the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll be the first one I call.
Callum, thank you very much for being here on Live on Air with Stephen Cuoco on Power 98.5. Let everyone know where they can find you on all your socials and website.
All the socials are Callum_Kerr_1 or underscore. I can't remember what you call that. Callum Kerr 1 with little underscores between. I think that's my username for pretty much everything. Otherwise, just type in Callum Kerr. And I think that's about it. If you can get access to watch Hollyoaks, definitely tune in. It's a great show. It's fun. It's mad, and it's dramatic. And if not, listen out for my music on Spotify and Apple Music.
Let the listeners know, what day and time is Hollyoaks air?
UK time is 6:30 p.m. every weekday, which would be 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. East Coast time, but I think you can get it on demand on Hulu.
Okay, perfect.
I'm pretty sure. I think there's quite a few people watching it via Hulu, so you can get it there. But if there's ever any update, or if it's moving channels, or if it ever comes over to the States, I'll let you know.
Please. Callum Kerr, everyone, go check out his new single, Eventually, streaming on all platforms, Hollyoaks. And Callum, you've got a home here at Power 98.5.
Stephen Cuoco, you're a legend. You're a professional. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Friend us on your socials and let's connect.